Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Becoming the Muse. I am so excited to bring another episode of Becoming the Muse right to you for this new 2026 new year. So if you haven't heard already, Happy New Year. I'm so grateful to be bringing this series still to you all. And without further ado, I'm gonna get right into it. So the way these videos are normally structured is I start with my goals from the previous month. I share some things that may have happened in the last month, and then I finish off with some goals that I look forward to in the coming month. So some of my goals from last month. Recognizing how my growth is accelerating the change that I'm seeing around me. So that actually, I have been reflecting on that a lot, and there's been a lot of different examples and circumstances where that has come back up. And I'm so grateful for my fiance because he really helped bring some of those ideas to the forefront and help me see that there are various areas of my life where I am contributing to the change that's happening around me. And I think what's most interesting about that is he didn't even know that I've really been having a hard time with this. So I feel so blessed that I'm getting all these different messages and confirmations of the change that I am doing in my own life is directly resulting in the things that I'm seeing change around me. Setting myself up for research success. So the biggest thing I said when it comes to that goal is actually just taking a mental rest, which I did. And I'm so grateful that I did. So I even stepped away from social media and posting and all that stuff during the holidays, just so that I could kind of reset and recenter myself and remember, what am I really trying to do here? And what do I really care about? Plus that season of needing that rest was just so important. I really, really needed a break. I needed to step away from everything that had been going on at work, with the social media, with the creative projects, all these different things. And I'm just so grateful that I really took advantage of that time. Yes, was there time that I worked during the holiday break? Of course there was. But I did not let it really consume a lot of my holiday time, which really made me happy and enjoy that break even more and enjoy that time with my family. And another goal from last month was my vision board workshops. At the point when I recorded that, I did not have the first vision board workshop done. At this point, we have been through part 1 and part 2 of the vision board workshop. Those were absolutely awesome and amazing. If you want to know more about that, or you want to join the last session, that is the last week of this month of January, check in the description box down below or comment, and I will be more than willing to meet with you and chat all things vision board. All right, so some things from last month. Of course, naturally, I'm first going to mention the vision board workshop, and that actually went extremely well. I've been having a larger turnout for my vision board workshop this year compared to last year, which is really awesome. I'm really hoping that all my participants are able to really get something out of this and build something that aligns with their desires and helps them see what they're trying to accomplish in this next year, whatever time frame that they're putting for themselves. New opportunities. So I'm not gonna get too much into this just because I'm a strong believer of making moves in silence, and unfortunately there are people in the world who wish bad upon people that are doing good things. So I'm only gonna share very briefly about one opportunity or a seed that I planted last year that is coming back around, and it is science in the news. So I talked about this, I believe maybe 2 videos ago or so, where I mentioned that it was one of my goals to kind of get that up and running with my podcast. However, I just didn't hear from them. And that's the odds of everyone being a PhD student. This person in particular was working on their dissertation and getting out of here. So I really can't be upset with him. And I think it is very good that I was able to kind of take a step back and really kind of set up these other frameworks and structures for myself, so that I can be successful in my own way. And then add science in the news in the month of February. So stay tuned, we'll be coming back around to that. And I'm really excited to be expanding my podcast series in that kind of way. Another thing that I wanted to just mention is just in general, how important I think diversity is in the sciences. And that's come up in a variety of ways for a variety of reasons. But the striking example really came to me this past weekend because I was speaking to one of my old mentors. I do a lot of micro dissections for my PhD. And there is a lot of times where I sometimes just have to hold my hands in a position for an extended period of time, make sure my tissues are doing good, make sure my tissues get fixed, whatever you want to call it. And I had a lab mate that was shadowing me one day, and she asked me like, oh, wow, like your hands must be getting so tired. And I was just like, no, not really. And you have to understand, like, I don't drink coffee, so I don't really get the shakes whenever I'm doing dissections. And I practice a lot of breath work whenever I'm doing my dissections, because it's very, very hard to do these dissections and not damage the tissue. And so this last weekend, I was speaking with one of my mentors, and I happened to go into work that day, and I was like doing a very similar experiment to that other day that I was referring to. And this mentor says to me, she says, oh, how much do you think that being able to do your own hair and braiding or twisting your own hair has helped you in the science workplace? And I was like, wait, I have literally never thought about that. The pure fact that I am used to spending hours upon hours upon hours working on my hair, such that now doing all these micro dissections and holding these hand positions or whatever you want to say doesn't really bother me, like, at all. And so I just thought that was really funny, and I really wanted to bring that up because that's a prime example of why it's so important to have diversity in science. Like, her questioning was really about like the skills that I had gained from doing my hair and if that transfers, but it's really about like my dexterity and my stamina in doing a lot of these things. Like, I have a lot of stamina because I'm used to just spending hours upon hours upon hours doing my own hair. So I thought that was a really cool connection and a really interesting way to think about why it's so important to have diversity in science. And this last thing I want to share as far as last month goes is how important I think it is to start implementing more fun into my time at Boston. And so this actually comes up because as I was leaving my partner in New York and driving back to Boston, I was just distraught. I mean, y'all, I was boohoo crying. I was crying for hours, and I'm not over exaggerating, like literally crying for hours because I was just so hurt. It was the longest amount of time that I've spent with him since starting grad school, and I just did not want to leave him. And I realized that, you know, because those 2 weeks went by so fast for the time that I was away, I realized that I really need to implement more fun. So the 2 weeks flew by mainly because I was having so much fun, spending time with family, just not doing something laborious or tedious. And I actually ended up thinking about that in the car. And I was like, okay, well, if that's the case, then let's see if I can test this out right now. Can I make this drive back home to Boston feel like it's faster by singing? Literally, one of my favorite things to do. And not only was that very comforting for me, because like I said, like I was just distraught leaving New York, but I also feel like it was a lot of fun and I got to just sing to myself and kind of soothe myself in that kind of way. And funny enough, later, not even a week later, I had a crazy experiment where I ended up having to do 19 dissections at the same time. All you really need to know about that is that it took me about 4 hours to do that. And it was like start time 5 o'clock. I didn't leave till 9, right? So like I'm already tired, I'm drained. There was a lot of stuff going on trying to get the reagents so I could do the thing in the first place, and I just couldn't. And delays, and I'm eventually doing it. And you know what I ended up doing is I sat down and I told myself, all right, I'm going to listen to my playlist of songs that I like to sing, and I'm going to make this experience more enjoyable. And I kid you not, it really made the time go by faster. And I feel like I was much less stressed. I wasn't kind of in that space of like, oh my gosh, I still have 10 remaining. Oh my gosh, there's still so much to do. Oh my God. Like I wasn't thinking about that. I was just really in the moment, singing to myself, enjoying the music that I was listening to. And I think that is something so significant that is really going to help me finish my time up here in Boston. I've realized that I don't see Boston as a fun place. I see Boston as a place of work because that's just about all that I do while I'm here. But now I'm trying to find more ways to implement fun into my time being in Boston, especially as I'm hoping that I'll only be here for another year and a half longer. So if that's the case, how can we get through this time, possibly even faster, but how can we get through this time and just enjoy it to the fullest? So those are some of the things that happened last month that I feel like were very, very important to mention, but not too much to share today. One last thing that happened during this last season and between these last two videos is I gave an update department talk. And what that means is once a year, I have the opportunity to give a talk to my department that I work in. So I work at Boston Children's Hospital. I'm specifically in the pathology department. I give a seminar once a year to these people that are in this department with me. On this past Monday, it was my time to go. And so it was really awesome because I got to give an update on my project. I had done the same seminar about a year ago. So this is like year to date. Hey everyone, here's all my updates. Here's how their experiments are looking. And it was just honestly so awesome. And I'm so proud of myself for two reasons. One, I didn't really get to practice that presentation. And that really sucks. I only got to practice it one time really. And when it boils down to it, I'm starting to realize how much I trust myself as a scientist and trust the work that I've been doing and trust the narrative that I'm starting to share. So I think that's really awesome. And two, it really motivated me to trust my scientific instinct more. Like I really am a very gifted speaker and a very gifted presenter. So I want to allow myself to really take advantage of that energy. And so as far as goals for this month goes, I have my last vision board workshop at the end of the month. So again, check in the description box down below if you want to learn more about that. I came up with the social media content schedule and I really want to see if I can stick to it. So that's actually really, really exciting. I have a couple of different things that are in the works now. Like I'm sure that you saw, I now have a meditation video posted and I'm hoping to do more of that, as well as keeping this series consistent, doing the podcasting, doing the short form content, all the things that I care about. I'm really trying to make something that's really streamlined and consistent and doable for me. So that's another goal for this upcoming month. I want to get a huge chunk of experiments done. And when I say that, I mean optimizing some things. In fact, today I was actually optimizing and working on a new experiment that, fingers crossed, let's see how it goes. It's been working out so far. I didn't even think I could get the tissue to this point in the protocol. So I'm so happy and so excited to see what this final result ends up looking like. But I have a lot of experiments in the pipeline that I'm really trying to get done this month or within this next month and a half. And after that, I'll be in this very intensive grant writing season. So we'll see how that goes. And all these experiments will be very supportive towards that grant writing in the near future. Speaking of grant writing, my next goal is to start thinking about my specific aims. So as you start working on grant writing, at least federal grants, you end up making a specific aims page. It basically summarizes your whole project into one page. And one thing that I'm hoping that I can get done by the end of this month is having a revised version of that and starting to go back and forth with that with my PI so that I can be ready for submission come end of March. And also, I want to schedule my next dissertation advisory committee meeting. So that's my DAC. These are the group of scientists that come together to help advise me on my project and help me find better directions forward. So I'm really excited for my next DAC because I'm going to have so much to share. And I think that it's not even going to be until April or May at the earliest. But that is another one of my goals for this next video season. I hope that you enjoyed this update on becoming the Muse. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I'm so blessed to have you here and start building this community on YouTube in this kind of way. And if you haven't already, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with a friend if you think it'll be helpful for them. And feel free to leave any comments down below. If you have any topics that you would like to request, I would love to hear what your thoughts are. Leave that down in the comment section below as well. Until next time, I will see you soon. Happy New Year and have a good one.